Laughing loud and feeling free. Never noticed till you there was more. They can't see you really. So stand out, stand out, stand out. You're here, you're free, absolutely where you need to be. So stand out, stand out, stand out.
Welcome to the Sonshine State, a space for health, healing, and wellness.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Sonshine State. My name is Sonshine Wiley, and I'm your host. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Joining me as we journey in search of emotional health, healing, and wellness. We are in high pursuit of overall wellness, choosing to see the glass of our life as half full and overflowing. And today I have a special guest with me today. And I want to introduce her. She is, I'll read her bio because she'll say it better than me. She's a military brat born in Tokyo, Japan, raised in Niceville, Florida, moved from Florida to Michigan, where her father's side of the family resides. And at the age of 20, she moved there when she was 20 and then continued her educational pursuits of nursing and then turned that into a business degree. She recently relocated from Michigan to LA, upcoming 2 years in October. She's an assistant manager in the logistics field, but her passion lies within all things health related, mind, body, and spirit. She's a certified spin instructor, a lover of natural food and healing remedies, and she's absolutely my favorite gym partner. And if you're looking for her, she's not very active on social media. Trust me, I know. But if you want to follow her, she's on Instagram as @QHardy _35 and on TikTok as @Tish, TISH 355. So now that we got the cute stuff out the way, let's get it going. Okay. So before we get started, we have a wine. I wanted to start because I've been drinking a couple of wines and I intend on continuing that pursuit or just continuing doing that. So I wanted to actually start reviewing like Black owned and Black brand wines and things like that. So the wine that we have for us today, let's see here. This wine is called Stellenmar. It is a California rosé. Stellenmar, I'm not going to read all their stuff, but it's called Stellenmar. And it's a rosé. We're going to try it. We'll let you know what we think about it. Really cute bottle. I like the picture on there and all that kind of stuff. Let me open this bad boy up. Girl, give me your glass. You know you want some?
I'm just following your lead. That's
Girl. Oh. You've been introduced. You here now.
Drinking. This
Look, have you met me? That's enough? You want that much?
Go ahead and give me as much as you got. We in this together.
Listen. Might as well got to loosen up. All righty. So today we are going to talk about a whole lot of things. But overall, we're going to talk about overthinking and being your most authentic self. We as women are known to overthink and to put too much thought into things that might not be as serious as we make them. So we're going to talk about that. So I'm just going to kick it off with a couple questions for you just to kind of let you know kind of how things go here. So let me ask you this. How often do you feel like when someone asks you, how you doing? How do you feel like you're honest? How often do you feel like you're honest? Like what's the percentage of time that you're actually honest when somebody asks you how you doing?
5%. And it's that low because it really depends on who's asking me that question.
Okay.
I don't let a lot of people into my personal space. And I tend to, like you said, overthink. And some people will ask that as just something to say. They don't really want to know how you're doing or, care. So
Yeah.
you give an obvious short answer. Oh, everything's good. I'm good. I'm great. I'm awesome. Have an amazing day. That way you just kind of keep it moving. But if there's somebody that's clearly close to me, somebody that, I don't have my guard up, I'll give an honest answer, but it's a low percentage of the time. Definitely.
Got you. So the reason why I asked that question is because that question was asked of me. I was around some friends and we were playing some card game. I have no clue what the name of it is, but that was one of the questions on the card game. And like a lot of people had the same answer. They were like 5%, maybe 10%, maybe 2%, that they're honest with people who ask them how they're doing. And it kind of like made me think like, because I've been in like high pursuit of choosing the tribe or choosing the people that I want to be around, I feel like my percentage is a little bit higher. It's not like 100%, definitely, but it's more like a 40, 50% because 50% of the time is people that I don't know and people who aren't in my group who are asking me. And, so they, like you said, get a general answer. But the other 40, 45% are my people. And because I've built the type of relationships or because I'm working at building those type of relationships that are authentic, that are honest, and like you said, that you can trust them with, how you're actually doing. I feel like I've had the opportunity to be a little bit more honest with those people. Like even if you were to call me and I were to say, and you say, how you doing? And I'd be like, I'm okay. And your automatic response is, why are you just okay? What's going on? Why just okay?
What's going on?
Right. What
happened today?
Right. Like, what's up?
Yep.
And so a lot of times, like you said, people don't really want to know. No. They ask that question out of routine. They ask that question out of obligation. And it's not because they actually want to know how you're doing. And so what I want to know is, how do you think we can build more authentic people around us so that when those questions are asked, you can feel comfortable with answering that honestly?
To be honest, it's just a conversation. You have to be comfortable with whoever you let into your circle to be able to be your authentic self, to let, whoever that person is, how you're truly feeling, what's going on in your life, in your day, what currently just happened that may have you, feeling out of sorts, whatever it may be. But if you aren't able to converse with somebody around, like, when you ask me that question, do you really want to know? Do you really care? Or is it almost like a hello, a good morning?
Right.
know?
Yeah. An autopilot question.
It is. You just have to just kind of open the floor and have a conversation. And I think some of those conversations are uncomfortable. So it's easy to just say, I don't really know how that person feels. I'm not comfortable with that person. So I'm just going to leave it plain and simple. Everything's good.
Right.
So
do you think that translates into you like working with people? Because like you're in management now, but then you're also like in health and wellness or health and fitness industry. And you've operated as a spin instructor. So like when you ask people, when you check in, do you feel like it translates your authenticity or your desire for a genuine answer to other people?
I do. I think I'm really good at like listening and having other people feel comfortable with, letting down their walls and talking to me about, some things that are personal. I don't always give that in return. So I'm doing a little bit better at that. But I do feel like specifically at work, it's a little bit more difficult because you want to keep it professional. And sometimes when you get a little too personal, you cross that line and then now everybody knows your business and now you feel a certain type of way about it.
And they always prying. I don't know what it is, but like being in leadership positions, it's like if you don't have a level of transparency or a level of humanness to you.
Mhm.
People are like, well, I don't really like her because she's so guarded. She don't really tell us none of her business, or she don't really like open up to us. And so I've had to find ways to give people caveats of myself so that I still seem like a human to them without overstepping or crossing the line. Because like in leadership, like you have to be personable, you have to be relatable so that people can want to follow you, so to speak. But it can't be so much. You can't be so familiar that they feel like they don't have to be accountable to you.
It's difficult as a Black woman in leadership because if you don't give enough, they think, oh, she's mean, she's a bee, she's this.
Yeah.
If you give too much as a woman, you're too emotional. If you try to find a middle ground and, you're trying to be a little more like assertive, whatever, you're, the angry Black woman, it's very difficult on, how to, I guess like the perfect like medium for that. Like where do I go? Whereas with other people, you see it all the time. It's like, dang, I can't act like that. You get away with murder,
Yes.
So it's difficult. It is.
Yeah. And honestly, all of that. How do you turn off, I guess, the corporate when you come home? Like, is there something that you do to like be like, okay, this is the end of my work day. This is the end of me being in leadership. Now I get to come home and now I have this partner and now, he has to be able to be a man, and I can't be like Sergeant Slaughter up in this piece. Like, how do you do that?
I'm still working on that. I am a very dominant personality, and so is my partner. He is very dominant. So it is, we bump heads all the time. It's 2 chiefs in the tribe. So it's communication is the biggest part, and it is not so much turning off the corporate because it's like a dimmer switch for me. Depending on who I'm around, I can turn it down, turn it back up. But I feel like I'm a natural leader. I like to take charge. I have no problem stepping back. But if I feel like I need to step in, I will. And sometimes that is hard in your personal life, especially in a relationship. Because when you have a man that wants to, and I'm not saying any sort of gender roles, but if you have somebody that wants to take charge all the time and you're used to being in charge, it's hard to take that step back all the time.
I mean, especially if life has given you no other choice but to be the captain of your own ship. If life has given you no other choice but to make it happen, being able to step out of the way and trust that somebody else is going to make it happen, that's a little difficult. It's like, I've been making it happen all these years, and now I got to stop making it happen and trust that you're going to make it happen. That's hard. But it's possible because, like you have learned, with the right partner, it becomes more possible because you have the level of comfort.
Absolutely.
And that level of trust.
And, you start to learn each other. You learn, like, what are your strengths? What are my strengths? So I have no problem letting you lead because you're really good at this.
Right.
And I'm not,
right.
So I think that's really important in any relationship.
Yeah, that's dope. Speaking of relationships, I saw this thing on Facebook and it tickled me. And it actually made me think of the show that we've been watching.
Okay.
So it says, the high probability of seeing an alien before I meet the love of my life doesn't sit well with me. I hollered. So now, you know how people are all out here talking about their sighting and viewing aliens and things like that. People are like, I'm going to see an alien before I meet the love of my life. Because, people are out here saying that it's pee in the dating pool, it's diarrhea, all the things. So it made me think about the show that we've been watching, 90 Day Fiance, before the 90 days. Listen, that show,
It's addictive. It's sad, but it's addictive.
It's so sad.
It's really sad, but it's so addictive.
It is. And the reason why is because you're just like, man, maybe one of these people on this show is going to get it right. Maybe one of these people on this show is going to realize that this person just really isn't it for me. Like, I'm so ready for Darcy to wake up. I don't know what to do.
Darcy... And this is the before the 90 days.
Before.
This is the before. They haven't even had the proposal. None of that.
Nothing.
Darcy is, I feel like she doesn't love herself. I feel like she is looking for somebody to love her more than she loves herself.
Right.
And unfortunately, she keeps finding the same type of person. Yeah. She went from this young, immature, model type guy to this older. Who was
also narcissistic.
Yes.
And crazy.
Yeah. And she found another one that's just an older version of him.
Right. He was just a little bit more mature and able to hide his narcissism a little bit better.
Yes.
Because, the fact that this man started dating somebody else while they were still together and then decided to come and see what it's going to be. And then, after telling her, not even telling her, she had to ask. He wasn't going to tell her.
Yeah.
So once he got into all of that, then she's like, nah, I don't want nothing to do with you, which she was right to do.
Yeah.
It was about time that she stood up for herself and being like, you know what? I don't want to be in a situation like this. But then he drives to her house
to deliver a letter.
Child, when I saw that this man, first of all, when I saw him come back on the screen, I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you here? Like, you two are over. You guys have parted ways. Why are you still here? But it put me in the mind of Jesse. Mm-hmm. When Jesse decided that he wanted to still come back on the show after all the crap, he didn't yell at this lady in front of her kids. Now, mind you,
threatened to call the police.
Listen, now, mind you, she's not innocent because she is a huge instigator in a lot of this crap.
No,
she is a huge instigator in it, and it made me just think like, I feel like she is one of those people that how you can hear all the time where they say somebody can see other people's flaws, but they don't necessarily see themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she doesn't see herself.
No, she thinks she's a catch. She doesn't see that there's anything wrong with her. She doesn't see that she needs to probably heal. And before she moves on so quickly, it's like she's not looking for love. She just wants to have that type of relationship.
Because she was talking to Tom while she was still with Jesse.
Yeah.
As friends.
Yeah. So with reality TV is one of those things like how much is real, how much is scripted. Right. Because Tom coming back on the scene, I'm like,
I feel like they produced him.
Either he was trying to, I don't know, like make his image a little better because he did go in on Darcy when he made that comment like,
have you gained weight?
Right, you gained a tad bit of weight,
nigga.
Like, really? Are you? She caught it, but she kept it moving. She was like, I'm gonna go ahead and pay for this drink,
right?
And I'm gonna keep it moving. And he was hurt because she was just like, I don't care. Why am I here?
Right.
I don't want you. I'm over you.
Like, whatever.
So, like people do that are close to you. They, they say things that they know will hurt.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? And take those stabs. And that's what he did. But he came back on the scene. I don't know if he's trying to redeem his himself and his image, or if they were like, we got to keep y'all story going, so figure something out.
Right. But now this is the last set of people because it's a lot of scenarios to talk about.
Yes.
And I don't want to spend the whole time talking about this. But let's talk about this little man with the no neck. What was his name?
Ed, yes.
First of all, the man then told the lady her breath stank. Bought her a toothbrush.
She need to shave her legs.
She need to shave her legs because make her take a STD test. Mm-hmm. Make her take one, but won't take one himself because he doesn't trust the test in the Philippines. He trusts them for her, but he doesn't trust it for him. Yep. So all of these things, but you look like a barrel of nickels. My Lord.
You lied about your height. Yeah.
You lied to the girl she told you ahead of time that she wanted children.
Yeah.
And then you pretend like you are so oblivious to the fact that this lady is living in a third world country. You know where she come from.
His homegirl, whose mother is from a village not far from, let him know. Like, they don't have any running water.
Right.
They don't have any sort of sewage system. They don't have I don't even know if she said they had electricity, or maybe
they definitely don't.
You know what I mean? What did he say? Like, he has sensitive skin. He can't sleep on anything less than 1,000 thread.
First of all, why you didn't pack you some sheets?
No. I remember when he got there, he mailed them. They didn't arrive. Listen, I about fell out when he spent the night over there, and he was laid up against that wall on the mattress.
When he took the shower with the
his
daddy.
hair slicked across his face, sweating. I was like, this relationship ain't gonna work. He needs to just go ahead and cut the cord now.
No.
It's not gonna work.
Because he was on there, he was just, I don't know what the thought process was, because it's like, and it reminds me of a lot of the things that I've done in my past. We set ourselves up and we ignore the stuff that is blatantly told to us. Mm-hmm. The stuff that's like specifically said, this is what kind of situation that you're going into. This is the kind of scenario that you're about to walk into. But somewhere in your mind, you're so on cloud nine, or you're so adamant to want it to be better than what you expect, that you fool yourself and you go in there and you set yourself up for failure.
Yep.
And then he got mad at her when she left, because he was like, I don't understand why she's so mad at me. Dude, she told you she wanted children. You lied about it. Have a vasectomy appointment coming up? Bruh.
Yeah.
You done lied to this lady about 11 times. What are we doing?
Yep.
What are we doing?
One last thing on that. When he was so bent out of shape because he wanted to make sure that she was in it for love and not money. I get it. Like, maybe she does love him, but he has to understand, look at her situation.
Right. If I am living on the floor, on a concrete floor,
a wet
concrete floor with a rat,
with wet bedding, we are taking a bath
together
in the kitchen as
with
a
our
family,
underwear on,
out of a barrel of water. Same water we use for cooking. We're scooping it to bathe. We're scooping it to cook. This is all in one room. We sleep, we bathe, we eat, and all in the same room. I have an opportunity to go to America with this man
and build love and build a life.
He has to understand it is not all love.
It's not going to be all love. A person in that type of a situation wants a better life, period.
Absolutely.
And if finding love is attached to finding a better life, that's what they're going to want. Mm-hmm. That's what this person is going to be ultimately loyal to you, because they don't want you to send them back to wherever they came from.
Absolutely.
And now I get it. Some people out here scamming. I feel like the whole situation with the little Nigerian dude, he was scamming. But he was scamming. But still,
he was still looking for opportunity too. It's an opportunity.
Right. And the Russian girl, she was scamming.
America is the land of opportunity for all of those trying to get to America, not the ones that came here against their will, the ones that it is what it is.
So with all of this stuff that's going on, like, this is not just indicative of stuff that we're seeing on the TV show. These are like interpersonal relationships that you're seeing, like, with people all around. Mm-hmm. And, how do we manage to... So before I say that, I'll say this comment. I think that a lot of people in this show, just like a lot of people that we interact with one-on-one, have a difficulty with being able to see that there are things or imperfections that are within themselves. And me, like anybody else, I don't like to feel like there are inadequacies in me. Mm-hmm. However, the reality of the situation is there's always going to be some area and some room that you need to grow.
Yes. Absolutely.
So with the inadequacies that we have, how do you feel like, how do you remain hopeful knowing that, how do you not become overwhelmed by the fact that there are things that you need to work on within yourself?
Overwhelmed, like within a relationship?
No, just period. Girl, drink up, okay? Because
I'm like, how do I answer this question? You know, there are some things about me that I feel like I'm doing better at until I'm in a situation where emotions are, running high and I can see this part of my personality coming like a storm and I can't stop it.
Yeah.
It's like I have no control and it happens, it hits. And then after fact, I'm like, wow, like I really did the most there, and, but I recognize that, like I could have done better. I could have responded better. I could have reacted better. I could have stepped away. I could have set up certain boundaries so that never happened. So I don't get overwhelmed with it, but I recognize it and I try to stop it before it comes. Because it's like you see it coming, like these dark clouds coming over, and I'm like, they are really pushing me, to display this part of my personality that isn't the best that I'm working on. So it's a work in progress. But I don't get overwhelmed with it. I recognize it. I know I'm working on it. Sometimes I'll be upfront like, hey, I'm stubborn, I'm a brat, I'm emotional, whatever the case may be, just give me a minute. If I get quiet, just give me a minute. So, I can, compose myself and be able to communicate effectively how I'm feeling. So
do you find that a lot of people often give you that space to do that? Or are they like in a rush to have the conversation like, no? Because I've been in situations where I've asked for that time and somebody will be like, well, no, I want to talk about this right now. We need to discuss this right now in the heat of the moment. And I'm not a heat of the moment type of person because like I will cry and it'll piss me off.
It gets
because
ugly.
I'm mad. And I'm even more mad now that you made me cry in anger because I don't want you to see me cry because you think that you made me cry. All the things. Yeah. So I need a moment to cool down. Absolutely. And what if they don't want to give you that time?
Well, now they're displaying their inadequacies, because then in my mind, it's like, ding, ding, let's go then. Let's go.
Let's go.
Right, I'm trying to let you know I need some time.
Not let's go.
I'm trying to let you know I need some time. Even if I walk away, you want to follow me? Okay, here we are.
That's that Detroit coming.
Here we are. What are we doing? What are we doing? What you got to say?
Right. Like what?
Because now anything that I've been feeling that I just let go, I'm bringing all of that back up. All of it. And that's terrible. That's the last thing you want is be talking about something that happened 2 months ago that you didn't, communicate how you're feeling. Instead, you just let it go because you were trying to prevent an argument, knowing who you're dealing with. You try to prevent that argument. So you're like, you know what? It's not really a big deal.
Right.
Maybe I'm overthinking it. I'm just going to let it go.
Right.
But now you done pushed me. When I said I needed a minute, now you done pushed me. So now I'm digging up everything that I buried, and it's going to get ugly.
Yeah.
And I've been there a few times, and sometimes you can come back from it. Sometimes, you say things that are hurtful to that person because you know them, on a very personal level, and you can't come back from it, which is unfortunate, but. Yeah.
So have you ever been the type of person that can like pop off in a way where you like, man, I can't come back from this?
I try not to be. I really try not to be because the last thing I want to do is hurt somebody or, cause any trauma to somebody that I care about. Because typically the people you do that to are the ones that you love the most.
So why do we do that? Why do we like, I guess, inflict the most pain or the most frustration on the people that we love the most?
because they've hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of letting them know, like, hey, when you did this or said this, that really hurt me, and here's why,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you're even given a chance to do that, instead, it's like a tit for tat thing. You hurt me, now I'm going to hurt you even worse.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And that's why communication is so important in any relationship,
Right.
because I may have said or done something that wasn't intentional,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't mean to hurt you, and I did. But if you don't ever tell me, I'm going to continue to do those
Right.
things,
Right.
Until
Right.
you can't take anymore, and now you do something
Mm-hmm.
to hurt me on purpose. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So, of course, we're both from Black families. Okay, good. Now you're finally going to try it. Let me know what you think.
Okay.
Wait, yep.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right. I'm definitely a sweet wine person.
Yeah.
I'm like a Moscato person. This is a little more,
A little drier.
yeah,
Got you.
like a Chardonnay or something.
Got you. Because
It's a rosé.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
rosé. So
Yeah.
the Snoop one that we had was really good.
Yes.
The one that you brought. Yeah. That one
Yeah,
was good.
yeah. But I can deal with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, girl, I almost finished the glass. Okay, pray for me. All right. Anyway, but so when you have these situations and you are let me take it a step further. Have you been one of the type of women that'll like go as far as like keying somebody's car, or busting out some window? Like I've never been that person, and I don't
No.
understand it. And I've tried to like, I guess, ask people. I mean, I don't really know very many people like that, because that's
do.
not who I really.
Yes, I'm related to a couple of them. I'm not gonna mention any names.
You know, girl. Anonymous.
But no, I enjoy my freedom a little too much. Like there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
You know how cheap it is to get a camera?
Yeah.
It's cheap.
Yeah.
All you need is Wi-Fi and some double-sided tape, and you good to go. You are up and running in minutes. And that's all it takes. You don't know who is got their phone on. No. Mm-mm.
Right.
No, it's not that deep. I would rather walk away than to damage somebody's property because I was in my feelings.
Yeah, I've never gotten to that point where I'm ready to do that to like a significant other, because there's always something in the back of my mind. Well, you might want to come back from this. You might want to still be with this person after it's over, even if it's somebody that I know good and darn well that I would never come back to, like, period.
Yeah.
Like, I've been in a situation, and this we won't turn into a drama fest for me, but I've been in situations where I had to call the police on people. And I don't like calling the police on Black men because, I don't necessarily like the way that police treat Black men. That's not my, I don't enjoy that. So I try not to, but it's gotten to a point where my safety was threatened. And I was like, nah, I got to call the police because you got to get on out here.
Yep.
And
I've been there.
And I just, and I just feel like on our end as Black women, we are very loyal to, well, not all of us, a few of us. Cause I can't even put a real percentage on it now, because like, the ones that I'm connected to, the women that I know, we love Black men. The women that I am connected to, we love and support Black men. And that's all I can talk about. I can't talk about nobody else's population, but the women that I'm around.
Yeah.
So we don't want to see Black men going down unnecessarily, unless, they, put the hands on you. All bets are off, buddy. You got to go, But do you feel like there are still Black men left that have that same level of loyalty to us?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think I have so many single friends and single cousins that the dating world is rough. It's a I mean, it's some of the stories I hear, I'm like, man, you really start to second guess, like, dang, I got problems in my relationship, but are they really that bad? But, they're definitely not giving up, because while I do have a lot of single, friends and family members that are in my life, there's also a lot that have found love and have been in long relationships, marriages,
Right.
and stuff like that. So I think that still gives them hope, whether it's old or new, So, I mean, there's been conversation of a few people like, oh, I'm about to step out and see what to do over here. But when it comes down to it, you love what you love. You want to have a certain level of connection, and you may not get that out, looking elsewhere. So
I remember when you asked me if I would ever date I'm gonna say it. If I would ever date a white man,
white, Hispanic,
a white Hispanic. You asked me if I would date those persons, and my answer has always been a resounding no, because my first answer was ratchet because I don't know. I don't know pink meat. But that's one reason.
It was real though. It was real. You know what's important to you in a relationship. And if having a certain level of attraction and intimacy is important and you don't think they're going to be able to take it there, it is what it is.
Right. But I mean, and then another reason is that like I want to be able to spend time and I want to build a life with a person who has the ability to understand my culture, understand where I'm coming from, and not just understand it as a bystander, live in it, lived experience. That's what's important to me. And also somebody who can like have similar cultural experiences that they can pass down to my child and our children if we should have any in the future, because those things are important to me. It's nothing like a Black man. There is nothing on this earth like a Black
beautiful.
man. Nothing more beautiful, nothing more powerful, nothing more sacred than a Black man. And I feel like a lot of people, they get it, they just don't want to say it, because that's why Black men are wanted by so many other races.
Yeah. Same thing with Black women. I mean, there's so many different races try to, what's the word? They want to emulate us.
Yeah.
Our style, our culture, our flavor, all of it. They clearly hate us, but they love everything that is Black.
Right.
Including our men.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, like, because most of the interracial couples aren't Black women stepping out.
No, you rarely see a Black woman, a white man.
Because I mean, I see them and I know them.
Yes.
But not nearly as much as I see the Black men with women of other races and things like that. Because it's like, the beauty that comes from that melanin, even mixed with another race, it elevates the beauty.
Absolutely. We age gracefully.
Oh my gosh. Did you see the pictures of those guys who were like the little Montgomery Brawl people?
Yes.
The ones that said they were 23 and 25, I said, you a lie. You a lie. Y'all not 23 and 25. Y'all are 40.
Yep.
Stop the lies.
Yep.
What kind of drugs and alcohol they been on since 12?
That's just genetics. It's genetics.
I mean, because I'm like, dog, like I don't look my age. And, people say it all the time, but I'm like, dang, they doing bad.
Yep.
They look terrible.
And they just getting started. In
the early 20s. It's not even like
you're right.
29.
Right.
No,
you done
23,
lived a hard
baby.
life already, but you really haven't.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, I do want to ask you a couple last questions. Okay. So because we work out together, this question is leading to something. Would you consider yourself in shape?
It depends on the day. I am trying to get better at not tearing myself down.
Yeah.
Because we have bad days where, you can't see the progress. And sometimes we rely on others to see the progress in us. And then it's almost like, the glaze is like removed from your eyes. It's like, oh, I do see it, and sometimes we see it and then we get on the scale and the scale hasn't moved. And it's like, you look back in the mirror and you're like, I haven't been doing nothing, right, So I am, answer to that question is yes. Am I where I want to be? No, and that's why I keep working.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not all, physical. A lot of it is, mentally what it does for me with working out. And it's just empowering when I get done with a good workout, just that feeling of accomplishment that I'm able to push my body, past certain limits and, the progress that comes along with that. You tweak things so that you can get to where you want to be. Just don't give up. And so the answer to the question is yes.
Gotcha. So
let me ask you the same question because we do work out together.
We do. We do. So, see, and this is where my overthinking comes in. Because I have the capability of being in shape, but I don't necessarily consider myself all the way in shape yet. I feel like I'm getting there. I feel like I am on the road to there, but I don't feel like I'm there yet. I mean, I feel like, well, you know what? I guess I could say yes too, because like it's some things that I can do that other people who don't work out cannot do. Like I'm really strong, and there are certain things endurance wise that I can do that I couldn't do before.
Yeah.
So I guess yes, but it's a building phase.
Yeah. It's one of those where whatever your image is of being in shape, if you don't look like that, does it mean you're not in shape? And I think a lot of people have to get those, fitness standards out of your mind. In shape doesn't look a certain way.
Right.
Everybody's body is different.
Abilities as opposed to a look.
It is. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So have you ever caught yourself overthinking? And like, what do you do to combat it?
Today? Or just in general? Because I feel like that happened today. What do I do to combat overthinking? Sometimes I just have to like stop. Like, sometimes I'll be, I don't know, so focused on something that I wasn't able to get done that I realize the reason why I'm not able to get it done is because I'm doing so many other things, So sometimes I have to take a step back, take a deep breath, focus on one thing, get that done, and realize, like, when you're trying to do too many things or you're overthinking trying to get something done or accomplished, that it really just backfires. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really work in your favor. So
yeah. I feel like for me, like what we were talking about with like the relationships and stuff, like the overthinking really stems from fear. Yeah. I feel like the overthinking stems from feelings of inadequacy for me personally, because, it might not be the same for everybody else. But my overthinking has to do with trying to do everything just so, because I don't want to miss out or lose on whatever situation it is that I'm overthinking about. And I feel like a lot of times the way that I have combated overthinking is questioning myself. Yeah. Like people don't like to be questioned, but I question myself. Yeah. Like I literally sit there and I ask myself, like, okay, so what is this doing for you? Like how does this help? Yeah. And like, that's why people will ask me, like I have a friend that'll ask me all the time, okay, so where is this coming from? Like, what does this, like, help me understand it? Like, because that person really wants to understand it. So I'm like, okay, so how do I fully explain this to that person in a way that makes most sense? Yeah. And because I'm an overthinker, in that moment, I'll be like, well, if I say it this way, they'll think this. If I say it that way, they'll think this. But in my search or in my quest to become my most authentic self, I'm like, just tell the truth. Yeah. Just be honest. And if this person is really your friend or really supposed to be in your life, then whatever your truth is, they'll be able to accept it without judgment. Yeah. Whether or not they agree with it, because sometimes we don't agree. But being able to accept a person just for who they are is the most beautiful thing that a person can ask for. Yeah. Yep. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I don't want to keep it going. This has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for coming out, for being honest, and for sharing that sip of rosé with me. I appreciate you taking your sip. I enjoyed it, as you can see. But I just want to encourage you guys to be good to yourself and to be good to somebody else. and make sure that whatever it is that you do things that fill your cup up. You do things that make you feel whole, that feel loved and feel fulfilled. Because the only person that's going to be number one and in charge of your happiness and your joy is you. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Turn on the notification bell, bing, 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 all the things. And make sure you tune in next time. Again, my name is Sonshine Wiley. Miss Tisha, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for
Have a
having me.
wonderful day. Love y'all.
So stand out, stand out, stand out. You're here, you're free, absolutely where you need to be.
Thank you for joining the journey to the Sonshine State, a space for health, healing, and wellness.